I want to talk to you guys about tiny tips that make a huge difference. And over my beekeeping career, my uh, nearly 30 years of keeping bees, I've learned a lot of things out of kind of necessity. You know how you pick up on something and you think, wow, I really need a better way to do this. So you find kind of easier ways to do things. And so I've kind of just kept track of all these things that have helped me a lot over the past 30 years to make it easier for me when I'm keeping bees. I'm out in the bee yard, and I'm going to share those with you guys tonight. First one I want to talk about. Most of these I've made videos on, but maybe not all of them. And of course, I realize that sometimes I talk about things in a video, but it gets buried in a video and maybe you don't always see it. So this one is a dime for ventilation, 10 cents, or it can be 5 cents, or it can be a penny. I like a dime. It can be any coin you want to choose. Even if you're in a different country, you don't use our currency. But I like to use a quarter, a dime, a nickel. And guess where I place it on a very hot summer day? I place it on the very top box of my hive, just under my top cover. And what that does is it makes a little bit of a gap between the very top box. It can be a deep or it can be a honey super, whatever your top box is, doesn't matter, but it's going to allow ventilation. And that's going to help you a lot when it's really hot. That's a tiny, tiny little investment that you can make to cool your entire hive down. And I've actually used that a lot. Now, there's been desperate times when I've been very poor and I didn't have a nickel to rub against a nickel. So I used a stick, and a tiny little, 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch stick out of your yard. That'll work too. So you get what I'm saying? Okay. While we're talking about a hot summer day, another very inexpensive thing that you can do to cool your hive down. It's a very tiny thing you can do, make a huge difference. And that is providing shade for your hive. Now, we like to keep our bees out in the sun because we have better small hive beetle control, but out in the sun, they're going to get much hotter, especially on a very hot day with the sun beating down on them. You've probably seen me in my videos show you guys how I take a 4x4 piece of cardboard or political sign that you ripped off somebody's yard. I'm not telling you to do that, but maybe you've done that. Then you put something like that, corrugated plastic, and lay that 4x4 sheet right on top of your top cover, and then place like a brick or a cinder block on top to hold it down. Now that's going to provide shade for that hive during the hottest hours of the day. It is amazing how much that will keep your hive cool. And if you've never heard of that, if you've never done it, go ahead. You have my permission to give yourself a gentle slap on the forehead. I never thought of that. Now, I've even taken 4x4, like a piece of plywood. You could buy a very inexpensive, real thin, what is it? I think you can get a 1/4 inch piece of OSB board, cut it in half. That's a 4x4 OSB board. Now, leave it out in the rain. All that stuff's going to be bad except the plastic corrugated cardboard. But, your plywood, your cardboard especially, it's going to, and so your plywood's going to kind of get warped. But be creative, find a way to provide shade like that. That's a really good way to do it. Number 3, I'm going to share with you that you need to provide your bees with water. And one of the best ways to do that is to buy a very inexpensive bird bath from a farm store, a plastic one that you can somehow tack it to the ground, put some weight in it, some sand or something, just a plastic bird bath. And then you're going to put water in there and some sticks, stones, whatever. Bees do not make good swimmers, so you want to make sure your bees don't drown in your bird bath. Bird baths are very good to give the bees the water they need, not just to drink. A lot of people think bees drink a lot of water like humans do. They really don't. Bees get most of their moisture through the nectar that they're consuming, but they do need a lot of water to cool the hive down. They put droplets of the water on the brood and then fan it for evaporative cooling. So if your bees can't get water, they can start to overheat. And speaking of overheating, our next tip is number 4. Look at this. All my life, I have used different kind of lighters to start my smokers. And so this is one that Sherry picked up for me the other day. And now before I get into this, I know I also use torches like the yellow plumber's torch, different torch, the blue torch, the bottle torches. I've used those, and those work good. but they're kind of big and bulky and all. But look at this little torch. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's kind of dangerous. There's no safety switch. Any kid could pick this up and pull the trigger and it makes a torch. Oh, you do see that, don't you? Right there. Look at that torch. Now, the reason this torch is good, because if you have the other kind of lighter that makes a little flame at the end of it, it's like a candle flame. So as soon as the wind blows, you can't light your smoker because it's too windy. This is a torch, and they're really cheap and inexpensive. So that's another tip. Something that's a very inexpensive, very tiny, makes a huge difference. I'm looking at my notes on another screen over here. Now, let me give you another tiny tip, but it makes some big benefits, and that is not using your excluder until the right time. A lot of people have an excluder and they put it on way too early, and what happens is the bees just don't go up in through that queen excluder, because you put your super above it and the bees are down below and they just haven't really gone up into that top super yet, and you put a queen excluder to even make it more challenging. So I always encourage people, put the super on there first, let them get going up there, let them get drawing out some frames. And once you see that they are kind of used to going up there, there's bees up there, put the queen excluder on then. But you're going to have to make sure the queen's not up there, or you're going to be excluding her into your super where she can't go down below. But just a very good, easy trick is make sure the bees can have easy access to a super before you exclude the queen down. Now, the sixth thing I want to share, number 6, is adding additives to your feed. Now, we do sell additives, and we always have, and these sell out so quick. I don't know if they're online now. That's how fast they sell out. You have the protein powder here, and then you have the amino bee booster, and you have the honeybee healthy. And even I have trouble remembering. But these 3 things make a huge difference in the nutritional intake of your bees. So for those of you just dropping in, let me give you a brief way that I do it. I mix up a 1-to-1 sugar water in a quart jar, and I put a teaspoon of the pollen powder in there, protein powder, teaspoon of the honeybee healthy, teaspoon of amino bee, and 1 quart 1-to-1 sugar water. Mix it up, feed it to my bees. Wow, does it help so much. And that's just giving them more of the proteins, the carbohydrates that they need. So adding things to your sugar water is a great time. I spoke at King Bees over in Indiana near Rockville, and I shared my talk over there. One aspect was adding things to your 1-to-1 sugar water. And I explained, if you just give bees sugar water, not that good for them. We think bees just eat honey. They just eat carbohydrates. Well, they don't. They need a lot of other minerals, a lot of other proteins like we do, and they get it through their pollen. And when we just give them sugar water, well, we're not doing them any good. The next thing, let's see, where are we at now? My numbers are wrong. Okay. I thought the Word document would make the numbers right. But I'll just say the next one is, you know what this is? It's a robber screen, tiny little thing. But if you don't have one of these, you need to get one before late summer or fall. Now you think, oh, I don't need a robber screen. Yep, you need a robber screen. Now this is one that I think we carry this one. I'm pretty sure we do. And it is one that you tack onto the front of your entrance in order to reduce and eliminate robbing in late summer or early fall. Now, bees will rob other bees. It is just horrible. If you've never experienced that, leave a comment if you've experienced it. Tell the other people, those of you that experience robbing, leave a comment in the chat so other people will go, oh my gosh, it is a deal, huh? It is a problem. Yeah, when you see it, it is just mind-blowing how a colony can just attack another colony and rob all of the honey. I've had whole supers that I was going to harvest get robbed out, just dried out within an hour or two, gone. And it leaves a pile of wax dust on the bottom of your hive. Kill the bees are dead. So you want a robber screen so you can manage it. The idea is that your bees can go out of these top little holes up here, these little doors. They go in and out, but the robber bees are wanting to get in right here where the screen mesh is, and they can't figure out how to ever go in up here And you can always switch the door over here if they do. Put these on the night before. So that's a good thing to have. Tiny little thing helps a lot. The next thing I want to share is always have plenty of equipment at your disposal. Now, this is really important because you're going to get a call about a swarm, or one of your hives is going to swarm, even though you thought it wasn't going to swarm, it did, and you don't have any other equipment. You're scrounging around. Oh gosh, when am I going to put them in? I got a shoebox, I got a empty container, plastic container. I'll put them over there till I order something offline, and it's going to take forever to get that. Well, you need to have a rescue box ready. You're going to rescue this swarm, whether it's yours or somebody else's. Have extra equipment on hand, whether you're making a split or you're catching swarms. Get that extra equipment. Do it now. Don't delay. Well, after the live stream. All right. Now, some of you have watched my videos, some of the recent videos that I've made. All my life, I have kept a diary, not really a diary, but I've kept notes on the top of my hives. The top of my hives are, they have been white aluminum, and back in the old days, they were the galvanized steel, but I still wrote on top of it with one of these marking pens, queen marking pen. So I make notes, and I have my own little code that I use when I'm leaving notes on my beehives. You saw in a recent video where I said QL MQ 521.24. That means it was queenless, but I gave them a mated queen on 521.24. And so that gives me an indication of when they should be laying and if that queen's going to take and all that. I can just keep track. Just something real quick on the top. And it's fun making these little codes up in my mind, as long as I remember what the codes are. I'm also an amateur or ham radio. We have all of our C codes, Q codes that we use on that QSL. Some of you that are ham radios are like QSL. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is a queen cage to actually isolate your queen while you're working her. And so in this case, I've got a Jay's Bees plastic cage. And so you can use this cage to put your queen in there and keep her safe in a cage if you have to do some very dangerous frame manipulation. And you might kill your queen because you might smash her with all the work you're doing on your frames or something. Now, if you don't know how these work, that's really interesting because it has what I call a manhole cover right here. It's a tiny little door, a cap door right here. You can see that a little bit on the camera. I'll get it in focus a little bit more right here. So once you open that, then you can actually use your fingers to open the almost half of it. So you can open the entire cage here. Now that's what we often use to put queens in there. So you put your queen in there, put your finger over there. That way you're not trying to run her down the little hole there. And then you can close the first big section. And then the big section is held shut by this little snap of that little door. So these are handy. I always keep these in my bee suit. I just have a little cork on the end. You can put some candy or a marshmallow in there. But a little cork on the end will hold your queen in there while you're working her. And when you're done, you're feel good about letting your queen back out because you've been manipulated or inspected your hive. You can let her walk out, or you can crack it open and shake her out. So having these usually come with packages. So always save these. Gosh, I can never have enough of these for that I do. That's going to be so important to have. That's a tiny little thing that can give you some big benefits for sure. Now, the next thing I want to share with you is always dress appropriately. I want to take the ruler out and slap some of you on the fingers. that's how I went to school. That's what they did when I went to school. I'm not going to hit you, but shame on you if you're going out there and you're not appropriately dressed because you're setting yourself up for some type of catastrophe, small or large. And a small catastrophe is bees start stinging you on your legs, underneath your flip-flops, or underneath your shorts, and all at once you can't continue with your inspection because bees are getting my legs. And and what happens, a lot of you start keeping bees early on when they're small, if you're a new beginner, and the bees are quite manageable and happy when they're small, and all at once they get 2 deeps and 2 supers, and you got a lot of bees protecting a lot of honey, and oh my gosh, they'll light you up sometimes unexpectedly. So always wear the proper clothing ahead of time. I understand how it's hot, maybe you don't want to, but be safe. Set an example to other people that you have a hat and a veil on minimally, and you're taking the right precautions in case your hive turns very defensive on you, that you can continue working them with the proper clothing on. Now, I will always take my jacket and my gloves with me, even if I'm just wearing my hat and veil. Today, Reef and I were actually wearing only our hat and veil. Beautiful day. Bees were very calm, and even a big hive we opened up, it was very calm. And I did have my gloves on because I knew I was going to have to take the honey super frames off, and I was going to brush them. Bees can kind of get upset at that, but they didn't. But I had my gloves on anyway, but just a hat and a veil. But my suit was nearby because I'm not going to have to go somewhere and get my suit. It's going to be right there in case I need it. Okay. That's a good tip. Dress appropriately. The next thing is keeping all your tools and equipment in some sort of handy dandy little container, because that way you always know where it is. Raise your hand in the comment, in the chat, if you've ever lost a hive tool in your yard only to hit it with your lawnmower and then run over it with your lawnmower's tire. So you damaged your blade and you poked your lawnmower tire out. I'm telling you that for a friend. A hive tool is just like a weapon when you run over it with a lawnmower. But heck, you're working bees, you drop one or you leave it out there. It happens, okay? So keep some kind of a handy dandy little container. Now, I use ammo cans, steel ammo cans. They're rubber sealed at the top. I don't know, they're about that big. I've got some big ammo cans too. That's another story. I got to get a drink. But ammo cans will keep it dry and keep all your tools in one place. But you can buy a little plastic toolbox, something very easy, but it's good that you can have the ability to find things when you need them. Sometimes you need to find stuff really quick. Somebody will call you up, I got a swarm, or I got a problem, or you see something that needs to be done really quickly. It's great to grab your little handy dandy carrying case. All right, I got 3 more for you. One of the things that I love so much, I got several things. I shouldn't say 3. Look at this. Now, one of my viewers, maybe one of you watching tonight, actually sent me a whole container. Hang on. Here it is. I don't want to show the person's name on the air here, but it's Mary from New York. Mary, thank you. She sent me a whole bag of these corks. Now, let me tell you about corks. If you don't know this already, corks are very difficult to cut with a knife, even a sharp knife. So what I did, I took Mary's corks that she sent me. I was poking a stick in there, and I took it out to my grinder. And I just put it under the grinder and I ground. See, it was this size before. Can you see that? I'll get it in front of my shirt maybe. But I kept grinding it until it got to be the size where it would wedge into my smoker and put my smoker out. This is so cool to have a little cork. And there's different corks you can buy and make. But sometimes a stick doesn't seal all the way around it to put the fire out. If I can open this, which I may not be able to. Ooh. Nope. No, that's not going to happen. But anyway, I was going to show you how much smoker fuel is still left in there. Okay. Another tip is attached to my smoker. I want to show you this. I've got so much stuff. I feel like I'm going to unplug a wire somewhere. I'm sitting on wires. All right. So look at this. I've showed this in my videos. Now, this is the shipping tape that has the strands in it. Little, I think, strands of fiber, string or something. There's an official name for it. I never can remember it. Let me show you what I do with this. Okay, here we go. So if you're wanting to keep track of when you did something in your hive, like I just put these supers on, I'm going to see how long it takes the bees to draw this out. Well, if you write it on top of your wood, it's always there. You can't make it go away. And so if you use other kind of tape, the bees will eat it. But I've found that this kind of tape all you got to do, and I've made videos showing you is that I use this, but a lot of my experiments, I put a piece of tape on there, and then I can take my, Sharpie marker, and I can write on there, and it's really cool. What is he writing? And that way, if I want to change it later, I can change it. And so I can just, and the bees won't bother that piece of tape. So get you a roll of that tape, and that way you can take it off and it doesn't stay permanent with your frame, but it's on there as long as you want it to be, and it won't be in your way when you don't want it to be. Good tip, little tip, makes a big difference. All right, I got a few more things here. Oh, duct tape on my suit. Look at that. Now I love this. Here's my suit, and you've probably seen the piece of duct tape. Have some of you noticed that my duct tape actually got smaller? It did. Somebody came, we sell nukes every year. Somebody came and picked up a nuke, and that particular nuke, it had a little problem with the door not shutting good or something. And I had to actually take my duct tape and half of it to seal down the door on that little nuke box. So I'm down to a half a piece. I'd put a bigger piece on there, but I'm never around when I need to do it, but I'm gonna need it. So a big piece of duct tape on your bee suit. Oh my gosh, comes in so handy when you're out in the yard, and all at once you need a big piece of duct tape to help something out. So I would like to see all of you. You're a big follower of my channel if you send me a picture of you wearing your bee suit with a piece of duct tape on it. Now you can be creative. They make it in a lot of different colors. For those of you that don't want to just do black, you can buy duct tape in all the fancy colors. But send us a picture and show us you're wearing a piece of duct tape. Then they'll say, oh, yeah, you watch David's channel, don't you? You're wearing the duct tape. Okay. Let's see. I got some other things hanging around here. Let me make sure I got them all for you. Obviously, the push and queen cage is a good one. I've shared that with you guys before. Isolate your queen July, August, September for a week to cut down on brood production of the mites by reducing the bees' brood production. So that's going to be really good. I think that was it. Let me just scan my tabletop here and make sure. Yep. I think so. In case you forgot what a mite looks like, there they are, the Varroa Destructor. And just made a video this week. And I see Pat, my videographer, is here in the chat. So thanks, Pat, for helping me out so much. But we did a video last week on mite control and actually doing an alcohol wash, and also got to count some mites. That's good. Okay, before we get into some giveaways tonight, I want to share before we get into questions tonight, I want to give away some things. Now, I like this particular hat. See if you like it. The Beak Squad hat. I don't know. I wear hats sometimes when it's really hot outside, but I never thought I looked good in a hat. Maybe I'll change my mind, but this is the Beak Squad hat. So if you'd like to win the Beak Squad hat, then all you have to do right now is put the word #hat, lowercase, in the comments, and then we'll draw and see who will win this Beak Squad hat. Now, Beak Squad here is my handle on YouTube is Beak. Everybody has a handle. And you're my squad because you watch me, you follow me. So that's really great. About 600 of you are watching tonight. So thanks for watching. And you can be part of the Beak Squad. And it's a nice little hat to wear. And Robbie and Candy do a great job with our merchandise like this. So that's awesome. And appreciate them helping out a lot. So that's going to be our giveaway tonight. The first giveaway, the first of 3. So if you'd like to win the Beak Squad hat, there you go. #hat. And we'll see who our winner is tonight. We've got 3 more things to give away in addition to that. All right. Very good. Oh, I got a lot of people that are trying for the hat. Yep. Good deal. All right. Got a tight schedule, Robbie. So let's go ahead and spin the wheel to see who will win the hat tonight. All right. There we go. All right. Who's it going to be tonight? Come on. Everybody's rooting. Who is it going to be? Oh, there you go. Aubrey Jordan. So that's great. That's awesome. So be sure and email us at longlanehoneybees@gmail.com. That's our winner's email. Email us within 24 hours and we'll be sure and get that hat right out to you. Appreciate that so much. All right. Like I said, we've got some other giveaways coming up, so stay tuned. So let's jump into some question time. Always like answering you guys' question. It keeps me sharp, and I hope the answers will help you a lot too. So if you have some questions, go ahead and rip them off tonight. Oh, thanks for your donation tonight. And all of you guys, I saw a lot of donations coming in. I appreciate every one of them. Thank you so much. Recently lost a hive to a moth larvae infestation. What's the best method to limit or prevent moths? Yeah, the greater wax moth is something that is a pest within hives, but it's only a problem in weak and failing colonies. A wax moth is never a problem in a strong colony. And that's the answer. That's the magic potion. Just keep your hive really strong. Wax moths don't have a chance. They only come in, they're kind of the cleanup crew. They come in and clean up hives that are just basically a lost cause. And it does look bad. I've made several videos, a lot of videos on the wax moth. Don't burn your hive. Don't burn frames. It's not anything that you can't, can freeze your frames and kill those wax moth. I know there's a lot of different, chemicals like paradichlorine, benzenate and all that, but I don't like using PBD, and don't ever use wax moth balls. Don't use that in your hive. But you do need to find a way that you can freeze your hives that have wax moth damage to kill the eggs, and then you can always reuse those frames again, clean things up. I get my worst amount of wax moths in stored equipment, oddly enough. I'll take frames and I'll store them, and wax moths will get in there. So be careful even when you have used equipment. Hey, Kyle, bought a new mated queen 2 weeks ago and looked yesterday, didn't see any eggs, pupae, or cap brood. I looked today and saw her laying, but not in the cells, just laying as she walked. Thoughts? Usually when a queen is dropping eggs like that, she's very productive queen layer. Sometimes I suspect that the colony could be suffering from protein deprivation, and they're consuming the eggs for protein. And that's not unusual for bees to do that. That could be something going on. Other than that, it's a mystery why she's walking around with eggs falling off and not putting them in the cells. Now, it's possible that she's so new that she just doesn't have things worked out yet. Here you go, Kyle. Let's drop back in. I mean, that was 2 weeks ago, though, wasn't it? Wow, 14 days. She should be laying a great brood pattern. I don't have an answer for you. She should figure that out. I'm going to say give her 7 days. And if she's not doing any better in 7 days, something is wrong. And if you have enough bees in there, if you have a lot of bees, if you have a lot of resources like pollen and honey, nectar, if you can see it in the frames, then they're not deprived of protein. You're going to have to get rid of her in 7 days and try it again with another one, is what I would do. Can't risk it. Something's wrong. Hey, Jean, how are you? I saw a cocoon on the outside of my hive. Haven't looked into the hive yet. Any ideas what I might find? No. One of the ways you can find out is you could take a jar of kind of like wet sand maybe with air holes in the lid, put that cocoon in there and leave it and see what hatches. I mean, a cocoon could be anything, right? It's just hard to tell by a cocoon. Or, did I say that right? So you're going to have to really just try to see if you can figure out, maybe you can, I can identify wax moth cocoon very easily. I know what that looks like. But other things are more challenging to figure out what it is. But it could be probably wax moth since it was around your hive. Okay, is there a better way to move hives than 3 feet a day or until you get to a new spot for them? 3 feet a day is not a bad idea. That's a little bit of a larger. You can only move them about 2 or 3 inches every so many hours for them not to be confused. And I've done it. And that's why I'm saying it. If I move it a foot, they get real confused. They just hover around the hive. Yeah. So I would say you can take them 3 miles away. That's what the old standby method is. Take them out 3 miles, leave them 2 weeks, and then you can move them back to where you want them. There's no easy way around this. It really isn't. We're glad that foragers are so good about finding their home, aren't we? We're so thankful that all of these foragers that are bringing in this nectar can fly all over Kingdom Come and miles away and come right back to their exact location. We're happy about that until we have to move a hive. And then we're like, you guys are killing me here. You're so good at finding your home, but I move it 3 feet. Now you're lost. Go figure that out. Yeah. Well, let me tell you one more thing. Fola, thank you for your donation tonight. Very kind of you to leave that super sticker. Appreciate it. So when Reef and I were working a hive today, we took, and you can see it in the video, but we actually I had bees in a 5-frame wooden nucleus box. And so I was like, hey, we need to put this in a 10-frame deep. So I took a red 10-frame deep on a bottom board. We put the 5 frames in there. Would you believe the bees that it was still in the same location, still facing the same direction, still in the same up and down orientation. Everything was identical, except it was in a 10-frame red box instead of a 5-frame wooden box. Would you believe every single forager took an orientation flight? They looked at every corner of that hive. They measured it up and down before they went foraging again. And I'm like, it's the same place, people. It's just a different color. But to them, they're like, David, we're going to be flying 3 to 4 miles away. And now you've done this to us. And beside us is the white hive. Beside us is the green hive. Now you've changed our hive. Yeah, we can't take chances. We got to memorize this. Amazing. Just amazing. I have a lot of Douglas fir trees around my house. Would the pine cones that they drop be good smoker fuel? I don't see why not. Pine needles work well. I don't see why the cones won't work well as either. They're a little more wood. It might make a little bit hotter fire and not as much dense smoke. I would play with it and see, but I don't see any reason that would be a problem or cause any issues. Could be sooty, could be kind of more creosote, but pine needles are sappy too, Yeah, give it a try. My brother lives in Louisiana and, he's surrounded by pine trees. I mean, his yard is nothing but like inches of pine needles. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. He sent me a trash bag full of pine needles once, but burlap wins. Burlap is awesome. That should have been another tip. How do you know you have robber bees? Robber bees will just be trying to get in every nook and cranny. They'll be trying to get in the side. They'll be flying around the side. Your bees are going in and out of the front very nicely. Robber bees are in the back, front, side, trying to get under the top cover. It doesn't look pretty. And bees are fighting. You see bees holding onto each other, fist fighting, drop kicking, throwing each other around. It's just it's crazy. It is. It's just you. People ask me, how do you know you have robber bees? Oh my gosh. When you know it, you're like, whoa, that's what it looks like. Oh my gosh. And there's no stopping it. I've water hosed them down. I've thrown tarps over them. I've tried smoking them. You almost have to pick the hive up, take off with it in a truck, get out of there. It's just, they're going to get it. Yeah. Hey, Jessica. We're in Kansas City. I did a walk-away split on April the 15th. One hive. They're not one hive. They've not raised a queen, no eggs. I moved 2 frames of brood from the other hive a couple of weeks ago. I'm inspecting this weekend. Any thoughts? Okay. Let's see. When did you give them eggs? 2 frames of brood from the hive a couple of weeks ago. Okay. So if they had eggs 2 weeks ago, let's say they took that egg or young larvae, turned it into a queen. It's going to be 16 days. 2 weeks is 14 days. So you're a little too early to be looking probably for a mated laying queen yet. That's going to take you more about 20 to 30 days after they start with that very young larvae. It can be a little quicker, but you're probably be better to wait at least 3 weeks to go in there and look. That's my thoughts on it. Yeah. Is there data out studies on sting therapy? If so, please share. There is a ton of information on sting therapy. There's a whole website dedicated to it, and I'm not sure what the website is. apitherapy.com is a guess. I'm not sure if that's the right one. That'd be a nice website to have if you were doing apitherapy. Yeah, it's called apitherapy. I'm not a medical doctor, but there are many medical practitioners that do incorporate um, bee venom sting therapy. Your best bet is to just get on Google and get on the internet, try to find a very reliable source. Be careful. There is some stuff out there that's, but yeah, I've been to a lot of conferences where medical doctors have spoken on the subject and how they use therapy. I've had medical doctors on the property that tell me how they use all kind of things like even honey, but sting therapy and all to help people. And but that's something you want to be careful about. You don't want to just go willy-nilly into this because it doesn't always work out really well for people. You can have an allergic reaction, if not systemic, but you can have a local reaction, but you could have a systemic reaction too, and find yourself in a bad way. So need to find somebody that knows what they're doing. Thank you for your super sticker, Alan. Appreciate that. It's another giveaway time. Yeah, today, now we're going to give away our book that Sherry and I wrote. She wrote half of it. I wrote the other half. Thank you, Sherry, for not making me write it all. That's great. And anyway, this is a great book for those of you that have just started beekeeping. A lot of good illustrations, pictures, a lot of good information, and even has some great references to recipes as well. But it talks about different types of hives, how to get started. It's a book that really gives you some background. Might learn a little bit more about me and Sherry too if you get this book. So we'll autograph a copy of this to the winner. So just hashtag book in the comments and you could win this book. I think you probably do need to live in the lower 48 states or at least in the United States. I'm not sure how much, I'm not accurately positive we can ship this overseas, but we'll let you know if we can, but go for it. While you're trying to win things, just remember, it doesn't help to enter your name more than once. It just doesn't work that way. And it has to be all lowercase, hashtag book. And if you've already got the book and you don't know what you would do with another one, let somebody else try to win it, right? Or if you win something every time, take a back seat, let somebody else try to win who may be like me that never wins anything. Oh my gosh, those places I go to, you buy these raffle tickets to win this whatever. I never won anything. I've given up. All right, who's going to win the book today? Let's go ahead and spin it and see. We got a couple more to go here. All right, getting closer, slowing down. Henry Goss or Gas. Okay, great. Good job, Henry. You're going to get a copy of our book. Be sure and email longlinehoneybees@gmail.com. Let us know you're the winner, and we'll get the book sent out right to you. And while we're on the subject, let's do one more drawing right now. And this time I found a nice pair of gloves. Well, we're not drawing yet. So we're going to do this one. It's a pair of gloves. Here I am over here. All right. And so these are large. Apologize if you have small hands. It's not going to work out unless you like wearing larger gloves. It's the only size we have. It's large. And I think it's large because there's an L in front of the goat. It says L goat skin. So I'm thinking that's large. But goat skin, they got some vents on them. And so if you'd like a new pair of gloves or an extra pair, hashtag gloves, you could win the gloves tonight. So just start leaving that in the comments, hashtag gloves. Who doesn't need a pair of gloves? I need a new pair of gloves. I wear those blue ones that are rubber coated and they're shot. I've got holes in my gloves now, so that's not working out good for me. I'm going to have to get another pair of those blue gloves that I like to wear. To me, they're sting proof, so I enjoy them. Hashtag gloves for the winner that might win our gloves today. Good luck with the gloves. I do like goat skin. They're a little more, they bend a little easier. Some people might try to wear nitrile gloves or latex gloves. Those work really good, but remember, bees can sting through latex nitrile gloves. The stinger can penetrate those. I'm not going to say that it does, but they can. I've tried all the gloves possible. One thing I don't like is wearing work gloves because bees get underneath the sleeve, the ends of them, and then I pinch them. And I've tried using the gloves like dishwashing gloves, and boy, they're fragile. They don't last long. They work, but they just deteriorate so quickly. All right, let's see who's going to win our gloves today. Let's see, who will it be? Thanks, Robbie, for working all the scenes behind us there. Appreciate it. All right, who's going to win the gloves? Barnhill Bee Barn. Yeah, congratulations. You're going to use another pair of gloves on that Barnhill with your bee barn. All right. I got one more giveaway coming up, so don't go anyway. Don't go far. The next giveaway is going to be a lot of fun too. And so let's get back into some questions. Be sure and email longlanehoneybees@gmail.com. Let them know you won the gloves. Do you feed the protein year round? I only feed bees when I don't have honey supers on there. And so you don't want your feed and your honey. So anytime that my bees are, especially in a dearth, like at the end of summer or into fall when there's nothing out there for them, I like to feed them. And every time I feed bees, yes, I never feed bees just sugar water. I never feed them just brick candy in the wintertime. They always get my additives mixed in, which is protein, amino bee boost, and honeybee healthy all the time. So anytime I'm feeding bees, I'm giving them protein. That's what they do when they eat nectar. They get protein when they eat nectar from the flowers. Thanks, Mark, for your super sticker. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your giving us a donations tonight, super chats and stickers. Always so appreciated. It does take a penny to make this merry-go-round go round. So anything you do to help contribute to the cause is so much appreciated. Honey, how are you doing? Do most folks freeze their honey before they sell it to give it away? I saw someone say they freeze to kill small honey beetle or wax moth eggs that may be in the honey. Good question. Immediately, I want to say no. I would never freeze my honey before I sell it. I would freeze my comb honey. And I think that's what they're referring to. You do not want to sell comb honey unless you freeze it first, because that's where you're going to have the potential of small hive beetle larvae or eggs, I guess, and wax moth eggs. And all of those can hatch in the comb honey after you sell it and gross out your customers. But for the most part, the honey is not so much an issue. I'm not saying it couldn't be, but it would be very rare. Yeah. Good question, though. I like that. Good question. Hey, Timothy, is there something I can put over queen cells to keep the queens from killing each other? Yes, I don't have any right here by me. Well, you could put this over it, I guess, if you could work that into the comb. Yeah. There's a lot of different kind of queen cages, the protective cages they're called, and they're used in queen grafting, protective cell cages and all. I have a bunch of them, and I have used them in my frames, like doing what you're saying. So let's say I have a frame with 8 swarm cells on it. I've actually made out of my 1/8" hardware cloth, I've made pushing cages small enough to cover each one, so the other queen, if they emerge, can't kill them. But a better way to do it, quicker, easy way, if I get what you're trying to do, is to harvest the queen cells after day 13, when you can move them around a little bit more without killing the developing queen pupae, and then move them into a queenless nuke or an incubator. That's going to be your best bet if you're trying to do that. That's for sure. Good question, though. A lot of options when you come into that. The time goes so fast. We've got time left. I'm having a good time. Tom, thank you for your super sticker. Always nice to see you here. Always so great to see you supporting the cause here on my live stream. Appreciate you being part of Beak Squad. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it a lot. Oh, yeah. Hey, David, love your videos. I'll be moving and taking my apiary with me. Well, good. I did that one time and it didn't work out real well. when you're traveling, I was such a new beekeeper and I had to move my apiary because I moved to a different state, and I had them in the back of a pickup truck. Actually, a friend moved them for me. It didn't go well for my friend. Around 1 hour away, what is your recommendation? Just close at night, then move in the morning? Absolutely. Use some screen in the entrance or something. Don't suffocate them, but some screen to hold them in there at night when they're all in there. and then load them up. Now, here's the deal. Here's the deal. No pen and paper. You want to put a tie down strap around the bottom board, the whole thing, top cover, because all those boxes will shift in transport. They do. They will. If they can, they will. Tighten her down good. Keep it as one block while you're traveling. Always travel with a smoker, bee suit, a torch to light your smoker, smoker fuel, hat and veil for somebody else to help you, just in case there is an accident. You don't want bees everywhere and not have any way to deal with it. So just pretend you're going to be opening that hive up while you're traveling. So take everything with you. Other than that, yeah, put them together at night and then take them the next morning early, let them out. Yeah, simple as that. Straight Creek Apiary. Hey, Brian, why would a queenless colony cannibalize a frame of eggs and larvae? Oh, yeah, very simple. Food, food, food. Protein deprivation. Bees will devour eggs. They will devour larvae for protein. It is massive protein. And they need a lot of protein. You'll be surprised how much how much protein. I think they eat about 3 to 4 pounds of protein a week, a hive does. So they need a lot of protein. If they're not getting it through us helping them or through nature, through the pollen, they're going to cannibalize their brood. Absolutely. Thanks, Daniel, for your super sticker. Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it so much. All right. We have one more giveaway, don't we? But let's take one more question and we'll do another giveaway. Question. Will a hive make the queenless roar sound when the virgin is away on her mating flight? Hey, I'm not really crazy about the concept that the hive makes a queenless roar sound, period. Today, Reef and I looked at a hive that was noisy. He had good brood, had a great queen. I don't know if that's always going to be the case. I think they are a little bit more restless and a little bit more loud when probably a queen isn't in there. But no, when a virgin queen goes out on a mating flight, they're working, they're doing things. I'm not sure if they're going to be making that roaring sound. I don't think so. All right, let's do another giveaway. This one's going to be fun. Are you ready? This is really cool. And again, you might have to be in the U.S. to win for us to ship this to you. I have one of these out on one of our fence posts or something, but it says bee crossing. Nice metal sign. It's got some plastic on it to protect it. That's why it's kind of shining. Isn't that cool? You can put that out there. Hashtag sign if you'd like to win this sign today. And it's good. I like these. These are a lot of fun to have these signs. If you're like me, when I was a kid, I just collected signs all the time, had them in my bedroom. And some of my friends stole stop sign and speed limit signs off the road. I never did that. So I do like signs. I have signs in here. I have bike signs in my bike shop and all. And when I had a Harley, I had Harley signs around. It's cool. I have coffee signs around too. But anyway, if you want to win this sign, it is going to be hashtag sign, and we'll get this sent to you. Kind of a cool sign to put out for your neighbors to see. All right, hurry up, get those hashtag signs in the comments, and let's do a drawing, Robbie, whenever you're ready to pull the trigger. There we go. Man, I'm backwards in the mirror. All right. Let's see who's going to win the sign. Bee crossing. Bees really don't cross, but I guess flying across the road counts for crossing. Mark. Wow. Now, Mark, you've won before. I remember Mark won a couple of weeks ago. He is a lucky guy. We're going to find out what Mark's doing here. He's rigged the systems. Wow. You should go to Vegas, Mark. All right. Mark won the bee crossing sign. So Mark knows what to do because he's done it before. Thanks, guys, for participating in the giveaways today. A lot of good fun times. All right. We got some more time for some questions. Let me refuel my mouth. What is the best way to collect pollen? I have a pollen trap near me, but I don't want to get up and stumble over a thing and unplug my power cord. But pollen trap. A lot of good pollen traps. I've collected pollen, and you put it on the front. Most of them go on the front. Some go on the top. But pollen on the front entrance, and bees walk across, scrapes a little bit. Not all, but most of the pollen comes off and falls into a nice little container in the front of the hive. And then you can store it, freeze it, sell it, use it, whatever you want to do with your pollen. Just remember that if you're collecting pollen, you are minimizing what the bees need. They wouldn't be bringing it in there if they didn't need it. Carmen, thank you for your donation tonight. Appreciate that. So when you're stealing what they went out and got, it's going to set your hive back. Okay, unless your hive is pollen bound and they're still bringing it in, might make sense to collect it. Otherwise, you're stealing what they need. James, how are you doing? What temperature should the room be when you're grafting queens, and how sensitive are they? The larvae are temperature sensitive a tiny, tiny, tiny bit, but not anything like an incubating pupae. So I don't worry about it as long as it's over 80, 85. The key though, James, get this. It's not so much the temp, it's all about the humidity. Don't graft in a room that's air conditioned, because it's pulling the humidity out. It's going to dry your grafts out. And if you're following my queen rearing course or my queen rearing book, if you're following that, you know I promote putting wet paper towels or rags over your grafts, over your frame before and after you graft. Keep all of that larvae moist. They'll dry out so fast that will kill them. So don't worry about the temperature. Worry about the humidity. Good one. Like that. Excellent. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate that. Oh, you're a new member on my channel. Our channel membership keeps growing. It's a way that you guys can support my efforts on YouTube by supporting me as a nectar novice or a Beak Squad ambassador through a monthly donation that you sign up for. So we have the occasional live stream with just our members on the weekend sometimes. So that's a fun time, more intimate setting for the YouTube members to get together. You can always become a member at the bottom. Click on the join button. Hey, Robert, how are you? Missed YouTube live for YouTube members. Or are they posted on YouTube somewhere? Missed YouTube live for you. Oh, for YouTube members. Yeah. Oh, are they posted? No, I don't believe so. Let me think about that for a minute. I do not believe so, but possibly. I think, Robert, if you go back to the link that you were sent, and yeah, pretty sure if you click on that link, that will play. It should. Let me know, because it should. That should work, because it's an unlisted link and you know what it is. And if you play it, it should work fine. Michael, are the bees that are bearding all foragers? Oh, that's a really good question. Are the bees that are bearding all foragers? Now, that's a good question. I don't think so. Here's why. I'm just using my own brain here. I don't know if I have a lot of science behind me, literature, what I'm saying, but you're going to need a lot of nurse bees to keep feeding the developing larvae. So a certain amount of the nurse bees are going to stay in there and feed the young larvae even when it's hot outside. So some of the nurse bees aren't going out. If you had enough nurse bees, they might sneak out on the front porch for a break of the action and get a little cool weather on them. I don't see that as an impossibility. But yeah, it's going to be your older bees, I would think, that would be like nothing to do, right? They're not building comb. They're not comb builders. They're not housekeeping. They're foragers. But I can see if it's getting hot enough, almost everybody's going to be out there. I don't doubt it at all. All right. How much time we got? I'll take one more question. Give me one more question. How long after removing the queen do I have to wait until I introduce a new queen? Ooh, that's a tough question. Well, if you're removing the queen and you don't already have one on hand, let me reword that. Anytime you want to remove a queen, always have the replacement on hand so that you can wait 24 hours and put your new queen in there. However, if something happened where the new queen did not arrive, how long can you wait? It depends on if there's eggs in there, they're going to raise one. You know, if you wait 24 hours, they're already in the market. They're already marketing they're already in the process of raising another queen. So if you wait 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, they're going to raise their own queen. And then if you introduce one, they've already got one started. They're going to kill what you introduce. If they don't have eggs, don't have any way to make a queen, you can wait 21 days until they start the workers will start laying eggs after 3 weeks and no brood. Thanks, Brian, for your donation. Appreciate that, buddy. Good to see you tonight. So yeah, It depends on if there's an egg in there or not, any brood. If there's no brood, then you got about 3 weeks before you get laying workers. All right. Thank you so much for the super sticker there, EL. Appreciate that so much. Tonight has flown by. I don't know what happened to the 59 minutes, but that was the fastest 59 minutes that I've ever seen. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. I want to just take a moment to say thank you so much for watching. I know some of you are watching on the replay. Our last live stream has already reached, since last Thursday, reached 20,000 views before this one came out. It's just outstanding that we have that kind of community that watches them afterwards. So I realize some of you can't watch on Thursday night. So thanks for watching when you can. Appreciate it. But thank you all for being here tonight. I want you to know, I love you guys. I appreciate all of you so much. From all of us here, Jessica, Sherry, and Robbie, and myself, we're working hard to help you keep healthier bees and make fewer mistakes. That's why we have our live stream, to interact with our community and to provide a place where all of us can get together and get the questions answered that we're stumped about. And so we really do appreciate you being here. And it's great seeing our live stream continue to grow with more and more interest. We appreciate that so much. And thank you for your donations. The donations help us pay the bills and affords us the opportunity to have more giveaways and guests and things like that. So we really do appreciate it. So, so nice meeting so many of you in Indiana last week. So many of you told me that you are live stream participants and you're here tonight. So thanks so much. And this is a shout out to all of you for being here and being a part of my life. And I'm glad I can be a part of your life. So thank you so much. And just try to stay in your bees, keep working them, keep having a good time with your bees, and certainly hope to see you guys. Be sure to watch my newest videos that I've made this week. Got some really good videos of capturing swarms and working at the beehive, several beehives today with reef. So we had a great time as well. So check out all my videos. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and we always appreciate it. Until next time, I'll say good night, guys. Have a good evening.